What's going on, gardeners? On today's video, I'm going to show you how to make an in-ground do-it-yourself composter, and all it's going to take you is $12 and 10 minutes of your time.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and check out my Amazon store and Spreadshop links in the video description for everything I use in my garden and awesome custom apparel and gear.
First things first, why an in-ground composter? Why not just compost above ground like a normal person? Well, while above ground composting is the way to go in most situations, there are some times where you may want an in-ground composter. For example, about a year and a half ago, I showed you how to take a simple $20 trash can and convert it into a DIY trash can composter, and this has worked beautifully. This trash can composter has worked great for me over the last year and a half, and I use it to compost things like grass clippings, kitchen scraps, and all kinds of stuff, and it works at a rapid rate, much faster than it would if I were to just have an open, cold compost pile. Now, recently I added some grass clippings to it, but you'll see on the bottom here where my kitchen scraps were, I'm having this quickly turn into some really good-looking compost. Just look at it down there. That is what you call black gold, and that's going to be really good once it's completely finished. And if you're curious on how to make something like this, I will link to a video both above and down below in the video description that will show you exactly how. And while I love my trash can composter, I have to admit it does have a couple of downsides. One thing I never put inside my trash can composter is rotting, decaying fruits, and that is for three primary reasons. Number one, fruits contain lots of viable seed, and because I am not hot composting, if I place the rotting fruits inside of there, the seeds may still stay viable. So if I were to use that compost, it may have living seeds in there that are not destroyed, and it may germinate and cause a weed problem later down the road. The second reason why I don't put fruits in there is because when the fruits are from my garden, they're things like rotting tomatoes, rotting peppers, rotting figs, well, they may contain insect larvae that may have crawled inside those fruits and laid eggs. So if I were to put that inside the trash can composter, I may get an explosion of maggots or fly eggs inside there, and I just don't want that. And the third reason is rotting, decaying fruit breaks down into this nasty juice, this nasty, disgusting, fermented gook that I don't want inside this trash can because it'll make the entire area stink and it'll attract pests, both mammal pests and insect pests, and I just don't want that. An in-ground composter is going to fix these issues because it's going to stay really wet and moist, which is going to destroy all of those seeds so they aren't going to germinate, and all that nasty fruit juice that's going to ferment is going to leak into the ground, and the ground is going to absorb it. So it's not going to have that odor problem, and because I will be burying the in-ground composter, I'm not going to have to worry about insects and mammal pests getting inside of it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. A week ago, we got 17 inches of rain from Tropical Storm Debbie, and all of that rain caused a ton of my figs, tomatoes, peppers, and other fruits that I have growing around the yard to rot and spoil. So I collected all of them and I put them in this 5-gallon bucket right here. And they've been sitting here for several days, and let me tell you, the smell inside of this bucket, oh, if you could only smell it. It smells absolutely horrible. You can smell it fermenting. It almost has a wine-like smell, but not in a good way. It's like wine paired with rot, and you can see it is attracting wasps, flies, SWD, yellow jackets, all kinds of disgusting stuff in there. And this happens to me several times a year. I wind up with all of these fruits that I have to trash because of weather conditions, and also I have lots of cores and pieces of fruit left over from my normal cooking routines in my kitchen. And typically what I do is I collect these things and I either dig a hole and bury it, I dump it in the woods, or I put it in my trash can to try and get rid of it and cart it off site. And really, this is just a waste of food material that I could otherwise be composting. So, is there a better way? Of course there is. I went to my local Lowe's hardware store and I went to the storage container aisle and I found myself a nice heavy-duty 5-gallon bucket with a lockable lid and a handle. And that is exactly what I'm going to use here for my in-ground composter. Now, this only cost me $12 at the time of making this video. I know prices are going to increase in the future, so if you're watching this video years later, it will probably be a couple dollars more, but let me tell you, you this thing is a deal. And at first you may be tempted to go and get yourself something like a 5-gallon bucket and a lid to save a few dollars, but also let me tell you, these things only will last for about a year in the sun. They get very brittle, they crack, they do not last long in outdoor conditions. So that's the reason why I went with this more heavy-duty design. I believe this is more UV stabilized. It should last several seasons. And the other thing I like about it is it has a lockable lid. So when I bury this, I can lock this, so it will be really difficult for animals to get in and raid the compost, whereas these lids just aren't very secure. So for just a few dollars more, you're going to get a longer lasting, more secure vessel. And if you don't have this in stock at your local Lowe's, or you don't want to run to the hardware store, I'll make sure to link to a similar product down in the video description below. It will be a few dollars extra, but that's because they're working the shipping costs into the item itself. So here is how the system is going to work. I'm going to choose a location directly in between two of my fruit trees, and I'm going to dig a hole to install my composter. But before I do that, I need to drill some holes in the composter, both in the sides and also in the bottoms of the composter. And this is incredibly important for two reasons. Number one, the fruit that is going to be fermenting in here, it's going to be disgusting. Like I said, it's going to leach all kinds of nasty juices that is going to ferment and stink. So we need to have drain holes in the bottom for that juice to leak out. We also need air holes drilled in the sides of the composter for aerobic composting, and that is going to allow fresh air into the mix so the compost doesn't go anaerobic, and also it's going to allow entry holes for things like earthworms and other good bugs that live deep inside the soil to get inside the composter and devour what we are putting inside. But the benefits don't end there. As that nasty juice from all of the fruits leach out into the soil, well, that is going to come with a lot of composted nutrition that is going to trickle into the soil and feed the little feeder roots that are all around the areas from my fruit trees. So this composter, as it leaks out, those nutrients are going to go to my fruit trees to make them bigger and stronger and healthier. And over time, as the compost forms inside of here, and I get that really nice black loamy humus, I'll be able to just lift the composter out of the ground and then dump it next to the fruit trees. So I will be able to both feed them while the compost is breaking down and releasing that sludgy juice, and also wind up with nice finished compost that I can place along the fruit trees, or I can pick it up and cart the compost into my garden and then dump it along a garden row. I'm going to drill out the air and drainage holes in this bucket in 3 stages using 3 different drill bits: 1/8 inch, 5/16 inch, and 1/2 inch. And I'm going to do this in stages because if I just went straight to the biggest drill bit, this plastic will likely crack. So I'm going to start off with a small pilot hole and then increase them in size until I wind up with the final diameter of 1/2 inch per hole, which should let in adequate air and drainage in the bottom. And now we have our finished composter with air holes drilled in all of the sides and drain holes drilled in the bottom. So now that it is complete and ready for use, I'm going to show you how to use it. So I chose a location right in between these 2 apple trees that you see right here, and I dug a hole and I chose a depth that it would bury about 2/3 of the composter, but I still need to leave the top protruding out because those 2 air holes right there, they need to be exposed to let fresh air in because I'm not going to have any air holes in the lid. The other thing that you must verify is that the bottom of the bucket is making contact with the soil. There can't be an air layer in between or worms won't be able to get in there. And to test that, we are going to press the bucket in the bottom, and you'll see that I'm leaving an imprint in the soil. So that means that this is dug to a good depth, and also it's making good contact. So now I just need to fill in around the sides with the dirt that I excavated out. So there is our composter, perfectly set into the ground with the air holes up top exposed. Now let's fill it up. Now, please keep in mind, if you do not want to dig up a space in between your fruit trees to install this composter, you could also dig up a corner or the center of a raised garden bed that isn't currently in use, and you can sink it in the middle of a raised garden bed. People do that all the time, and they build their own DIY worm farm. They simply excavate a portion in either the corner or the center of their bed, and they constantly fill that up with kitchen scraps, and they even go out and they buy earthworms or other kind of worms, and they dump them in there, and then they constantly feed the earthworms with kitchen scraps, and then the worms crawl throughout their raised garden beds. So this isn't just a composter, this is also a worm farm as well. If I wanted to, I can get my own earthworms and I could put them inside here, and then they'll largely stay contained within that container, but they'll also travel in between my fruit trees as well, and they'll do a lot of good work for me in the process. Now, what am I going to fill this composter slash worm farm with? Well, first I'm going to use all that disgusting fermented fruit, the figs and the persimmons and the peppers and the tomatoes that I cleaned off my plants during all that heavy rain. And I also have some old kitchen scraps that I've been saving over the past couple of days. I have some celery ends, some coffee grounds, some pepper tops, some eggshells, avocado skins, carrots, all kinds of good stuff are in here. So now let's fill it up, and I'm going to start off with my kitchen scraps because the kitchen scraps are a lot drier than this disgusting mass of old fruits. Now that that is down, I'm going to pour the disgusting fruits on top. Then I'm going to take this and mix it around with this piece of rebar. And just to add some browns to the equation, I'm going to throw some of these pine bark nuggets and pine needles that I'm using as mulch into the mix. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some rainwater from my rain barrels on there just to wet everything down, and also pour some water around this bin to try and lock the dirt into place around it that I dug out. And then I am simply going to put on the lid and lock it into place. So today is August 27th. I want to give this composter a little bit of time so all of the worms and the bacteria in the soil can really go to work on the kitchen scraps I placed in there. After a few weeks, I will open it back up on camera and we will check in on things, and we will see if everything went according to plan or if my luck has broken down on me. Well, it's September 21st, and it has been 25 days since I added the initial rotting fruit to this in-ground composter. And since then, it's hard to believe, but we have received over 30 inches of rain from 2 different tropical storms that have blown through the area. So I haven't opened this in weeks. I have no idea what to expect. It may be a nasty, disgusting, soupy mess in there for all I know, because I haven't looked, and it has been so incredibly wet here. But just for the record, while it has been 3.5 weeks since I added those initial pieces of rotting fruit to the in-ground composter, I did also at some point about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago add another bin of old kitchen scraps as well, because I wanted to add more to the mixture. So what you'll see in there will actually be 2 different dumps of things into that in-ground composter. So let's pop this lid off and see what we are dealing with. Wow, very interesting. I'm going to have to take you in for a closer look, but so far I think I'm liking what I'm seeing. So I'm going to dig my hand in here and root around and see what we're dealing with. And it definitely is very wet and mucky in here because, after all, we have gotten over 30 inches of rain since I started this process. But what's very interesting is this is already almost completely broken down. Nothing in here is really discernible as rotting fruit. Now you can see there is a whole bunch of larvae in there that is starting to hatch, but I don't think these are any kind of problems. This is just the soil life that you can expect in the composting process. I mean, that is, after all, what is doing the composting, the bacteria, the fungi, and all of the insects in the soil. Wow, I can't believe, down at the bottom here, it almost already looks like a fresh bag of compost. If you just take out the wooden sticks in there, that looks like finished compost right there. And the only thing I can smell from it is coffee grounds, because when I added a whole bunch of kitchen scraps about 3 weeks ago, it had coffee grounds inside of it. Ironically, this top of an onion sprouted, which is pretty hilarious, even in total darkness. So that goes to show you how tough alliums are. This right here is some Hass avocado skin. So you can see how thin it is. It's really gone through a lot of breakdown, but that is clearly the toughest thing in here. Even most of the wood chips have broken down. I'm honestly blown away right now how well this is broken down, especially considering the horrific conditions that we've had with all of the rainfall and the flooding. And to me, this is really stunning that There's no anaerobic smell at all. If I didn't put coffee grounds in there, this would be practically odorless. This is really just incredible right here. I am blown away. I've been making instructional gardening videos for 6.5 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. And over that period of time, I've become better and better at predicting the outcome of these experiments as I've gained experience, for the same reason that a doctor with 20 years of experience will be able to predict the outcome of their patients better than someone that just graduated school. But that being said, sometimes things catch me off guard. Now, I knew that this was going to be a somewhat successful experiment because the science behind it is sound. What I am shocked is just how well it worked, especially considering the absolutely miserable conditions over the last month. And I honestly think, based on my experience, based on what I just witnessed, this may be even better than my trash can composter, and I really didn't expect that. The video I made on trash can composting a couple of years ago has racked up millions of views since then. Thank you all so much for that, by the way. And this is still probably one of the cheapest, fastest, easiest ways to make compost, and it allows you to make a whole lot of compost very quickly because of how big of a trash can you can source. But there is clearly something advantageous at work when you take a vessel and you sink it underground. Having it be constantly moist and maintain all that moisture, and to allow worms and other living creatures in that soil in, while also providing excellent drainage, at least if you have very sandy soil like I have. Clearly that is some kind of superior method, something about that environment being underground. It is just better at facilitating decomposition. And that makes a whole lot of sense, because what decomposes things better than an in-ground environment? Nothing is better at decomposing matter than a forest floor. I mean, that is what a forest floor is, after all. So now that I have verified how awesome this method of in-ground composting is, I'm going to go ahead and build a second one in a different location in my yard. And for the record, this is not going to be a replacement for my composting trash can. This is a supplement, and I recommend that every single gardener have both of them in their arsenal, because some things are going to do great being composted in your above ground trash can, but some stuff you're just not going to want rotting above ground. So for those nasty scraps, the underground composter is amazing. It seems to be even faster, and if you want, you can put something like this around your fruit trees or in your raised bed garden, and you can turn it into a worm bin. So everybody, I sure hope you found this video helpful and enlightening. It certainly was to me. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and please ring that notification bell so you're notified when I release more videos like these. If you're curious about any of the products that I use in real life in my garden or that I featured in this video, I will place links to them down below in the video description in my Amazon storefront. So expand the video description, click on the Amazon storefront link, and you'll see everything I use in real life in my garden. And while you're down there, please check out my spread shop for custom merch if you want to support the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video. It's time to fire up the Dale.
Look.
Oh, did you almost fall with excitement? Oh, you want to walk? Okay, buddy. It's time to take Dale for a walk. It's 6:30, it's beautiful out, it's still light out for another half an hour, and we're going to take my best buddy for a walk.